Hey, I'm Leo and welcome to Full Stack Magic. On this channel you'll watch me develop various web applications from scratch using Ruby on Rails framework. And today we start implementing our BeBePe project. And I'd like to start probably with establishing our Kanban board and adding items to it so it's easier to track everything. And I will start with what we discussed before. Our core features will be job applications, uh, projects, skills. Also, just to keep everything in one place and don't forget, we will be working at some point on Chrome extension as well. Simply because I want a very quick and easy way to add URLs with job postings to the service. So Chrome extensions. Also, at some point in the future, open AI API integration. And what else? Email notifications. Sometime in the future. What are we going to do today? We will start actually not exactly with code, but with setting up our deployment process so we can quickly iterate. I like to make absolutely minimum project that just show hello world basically on the page and make everything set up so auto deploy works and I can just push to GitHub and see result right away. So we don't have to sidetrack to it later, or if we have any troubles, we will be fixing them along the way and not when we have the fully working application locally, but now we need to figure out will it work on production or not. So the smallest step, we will go smallest steps. And our next smallest step to do today is first provision production server. It's actually ready. Let's add it right here, right away. So provision production server, then configure Kamal and configure GitHub action for deploy. Yep. And let's start. We will start with provisioning our server and we will be using it not by hand. We will use actually Ansible. So why is it draft? I don't want to convert it to issue, to be honest. Okay, let's keep it as is. Provision production server. So first things first, we will be hosting our project on DigitalOcean. I already created droplet, so we don't have to wait for it. Like it's the cheapest one, 1G, 1 CPU, shared CPU. We have already a domain name for it, BeBePe.com, like very cool. And let's start, I think. So also to save time, this is currently what our project is. This is our roots file. Here we have, this is default setup, and the root is pointing to our index controller and show action. And previously it was just plain text hello world. I made a small change to like show just simplest HTML page, so we can more easily see what we deployed to the server And if we go and see, this looks like this. Okay, at this point, I would like to commit or ignore this for now. I have some preparations to save time. We need controllers. We need show. We need all views actually. Application HTML layout. There is almost no changes. I just changed this text here. Manifest also some change in name and description, and that's about it. Roots, yes, we need roots, and that's about it for let's call it feature, and it will be what is it? First HTML page. No. Simple index page. Let's do this. Yep. Okay. With this out of the way, GitHub is ignored for now. This is ignored. Ignore, or actually, you know what? We missed something because if we go and here and run rspec, we will have an error because I had a test for it previously for testing hello world on the page. So let's fix this real quick while we edit. Hello world, not hello world. Let's check for, I don't know, this kind of text somewhere in the middle. Let's run it here. And the error here is because we are looking for exact match and we need just to look for inclusion of this text. So let's retest it. Now it works. Okay, let's test everything just in case. Okay, we are good to go. Let's, oh my God. Specs, amend this commit. Okay, now we're good. Okay, sorry for the distraction. Let's get back to Ansible actually. So I already added like a directory here for it with all the configuration, so we don't have to spend time writing everything from scratch. You can read it in the repository if you'd like. Quick introduction, I guess, if you don't know Ansible. What is Ansible? It's a tool that allows you provision your servers very quickly and use code as infrastructure. So the idea is you write so-called playbooks where you describe what needs to be done in a matter that each action ideally should be idempotent, so you can run it multiple times and it will be, if it's in the same state, it will stay in the same state. It don't produce any side effects and stuff like that. So you will, I will explain a little bit how everything works. So we have hosts file that's contain groups of servers. We have just one server and we put it under production. This can be anything, like you can call it web or whatever. It doesn't matter. I call it production. Ansible config, you can specify inventory file that is our host's ini file, so that you just don't have to or constantly write it in the command line. And this just so it knows what Python to use, because it's Ansible is written in Python and uses Python when it communicates with servers. And we have two main playbooks here. One is setup that will do some common stuff. It has a single common role. And another one is up. It will prepare our server for deployment by Kamal. Kamal requires Docker and some other stuff. Let's go through it. Also, we have group vars, so-called, in Ansible. The name of the file is the same as the group called here. It should match to work automatically, because you can apply different variables to different groups of servers if you want to. Here we specify where we configure and how big will be our swap file, our admin user. I tend to change it always to something else on the servers from root and close access through SSH for root just for security reason. Our deploy user that has even less rights than admin user. My SSH key, so I can SSH to the server under admin user or deploy user, and GitHub action SSH key, because we would need GitHub actions to SSH to the server through Kamal to deploy our application. Yeah. Okay, let's look at our roles now. Let's start with common, right? So this is the main file that includes everything else. I split it in some logical chunks. It can be put in this file directly, but I like more organized way of doing things. So first task is upgrade packages. Here we just internally it runs apt get update. Then we set up admin user. What does it do? It creates a user. It makes sure we can run sudo without password for easier admin actions. It also makes sure it has our admin SSH public key, which we specified here, same name. And next we go and install required packages. In here we install absolute minimum. It's keykeeper. Always install this package on my servers. What it does, it allows you to store all the files on your server under etc directory in sort of Git repository. So whenever you update packages or change something in the configuration files and commit these changes to the etc by the etc keeper, you can see what change in time you can roll back, and it's just nice and useful. And next we install fail to ban. That's for protection our SSH port, because like servers are getting bombarded constantly with various bots and stuff like that. So we need to ban especially noisy bots and pen testers. UFW, that's firewall that is used on Ubuntu, I think by default. That's what we will be using for our firewall as well. What next? Next we configure fail to ban. Here we just activate some default jail. So first of all, we change ban time. We will be banning for 60 minutes and 10 minutes is the default time between attempts. So if, let's say, max retries, right? If someone failed 5 times in a range of 10 minutes, we will ban him for 60 minutes. This is how it works. Next, we enable recidive jail. I think what it does, it bans for longer repetitive abusers. Next, like some log level configuration. some minor things, like not very important. You can read about it if you want later. Then we configure UFW. Here we simply allow SSH, HTTP, and HTTPS, and we deny everything else by default. And last one, we enable a swap file. That's it. Okay, then we have application playbook, which has app role and Docker role. Let's start with Docker. Here you see it's just single file. We download some requirements to install the Docker, and then we install all the required packages for Docker. That's it, very simple. And app also split in several files. Here we configure Docker first. Oh, actually, we don't need to do it. We're preparing, let's encrypt storage. I will explain why we need it a little bit later, but we need it for traffic reverse proxy we will be using with Kamal. And then we set up deploy user. We just create our deploy user and make sure it can run Docker. So we add him in the Docker group. Also, a couple more actions here. Maybe it makes sense to actually, let's move it. So, okay, these two actions, they just add GitHub action SSH public key, so GitHub actions can SSH, and our admin user SSHK, so he can SSH. Ensure SSH keys. Let's make it simple like this. Okay. Copy paste. Okay, looks good. So we have everything in place. I guess let's try to run it. Also, just so this IP address is the same IP address we have in for our droplet in DigitalOcean. Okay, let's start. Let's try to do it. For easier command line, we need to cd into Ansible directory. So this is our files. Here we just run Ansible playbook. First setup YAML. We don't need to specify any hosts or anything. It should just work. Let's try. It's not the fastest way, I guess, to configure, although it depends. Sometimes it seems like it's much faster to go and do something by hands, but I try to avoid it as much as possible nowadays and have Ansible rule the things, because it's much easier to, first of all, have version control of what you did, and second of all, less error-prone approach to server provisioning just in general, I would say. So we set up our admin user, added SSH key, install required packages. Now it's going through fail to ban role and tasks. I skip the time so you don't wait. So it's finished to run our setup playbook with no errors, which is great. Now we will launch the app playbook and I will see you when it's finished also. Okay, it's done. As you can see, no errors here as well. So at this point, I think we can consider this part as accomplished and commit. It's not a chore, it's a feature, I guess. It's Ansible configuration. For production, let's commit. Okay, we are closer and closer. By the way, just so you know, I did not do anything with the server beyond creating it in DigitalOcean and then running these Ansible playbooks. So I did not touch anything on the server by hand, and this is cool. Next, we going to work with Kamal. We will be using Kamal for our deployment. Kamal is a new deploy tool from DHH himself. It uses Docker and it's very kind of easy to use it for zero downtime deployment and also very easy to migrate your project from server to server, from data center to data center, because everything is configured and dockerized for the most part. So it's pretty nice. Okay, let's do it. Let's start from here, right? I think I already have it installed. Yeah, okay. We installed it. Now what we need to do, we need to run Kamal init. Kamal init. Okay. It's created our deploy config and file and Kamal hooks. Let's look what. Okay, here is our hooks. We won't be using them for now, so it's safe to ignore. Here's our configuration file, and where is our env? Here it is. Yeah, so we won't be using it this way. We will use it's Kamal NVFI, which allows you to have ERB template for your env file and get password secrets and credentials from various places. For example, 1Password, Bitwarden, and stuff like that. We will be using live 1Password in our case. Let's copy this example. In my case, I actually don't need to run get session token, because according to documentation, if you utilize biometrics with 1Password, you can remove session token, and this is what I'm doing. So I guess we can just delete this. We don't need this. We need this session. We can delete session. Yep. Rails master, yes, we need Docker registry password and user, and we need Postgres password. I think this is it. Let's check. So here is one password, Docker Hub. Postgres password. Yeah. And the way you copy it from one password is you do copy secret reference and then just insert it here. Okay, Docker registry, this is it. Now copy secret reference. Okay. Okay. And Postgres, where is it? Here it is. Oh, double quotes here accidentally. Here as well. Okay. Seems correct. Yes, this is like this. This should work in theory, but we need to configure our deploy now, actually. And to configure this, I have stored Scratch. Yeah, we can use it for reference to more quickly do everything. So our service is BeBePe. That doesn't matter. I will be storing our Docker image in Docker Hub, my personal one. So this is my registry. BeBePe. For it, servers. For servers, we need this IP. Registry. Oh, I guess we can use it like that. Like, or not. Yeah, I don't know. It's not flexible enough. Yeah, I think so. Let's do it this way. What else? We need to change the SSH also because our deploy user name is deploy, not root that is used by default. What else we need to change? Okay, let's go in order. So this is where, sorry, I put it higher than needed. DB host, this we don't need to change. Let's add just host name so that we have don't have an empty section here. Secret. Let's see. We need this environment variable. Let's add it here, but that means that we need to change it here. Okay. Next. Builder. Oh, too much. Builder. We will be using builder. We are using latest. Wait. Yeah. 333. GitHub token we don't need. let's check what else is here. Yeah, let's copy this. We actually don't need to specify Ruby version here because in our Docker file, we have it by default. So no need to duplicate this. And anyway, we need to enable cache for GitHub Action to improve our image building speed. What else are we missing here? Accessories. Yeah, accessories that we don't need to change anything here. Yeah, let's keep this example as is. Let's just copy what I have already. We will need this, just this. Let's see. So our accessories is services that will be installed from Docker Hub by default as well. So we need an image of PostgreSQL. We will be using latest 16 version. Host IP should be our server IP here. Port is we binding to localhost, so the database is not exposed to actually outside the server. And yeah, here we need so you see the naming. Postgres image requires Postgres password environment variable, and our server requires different name. What should we do in this case? We can just duplicate it, of course, for simplicity reasons. Like so. So Postgres will get its variable and our site will get its variable. Linking directories. So here is some configuration for Postgres, some micro optimizations. If you don't know this great site, I will show it to you. Like here you can just select your Postgres version, OS type, type of your application, some parameters of the server, and like 1 gig of RAM, 1 CPU, 100 connections, for example. You click generate and it generates an optimized variables for your config. And in Kamal case, we can use it by applying them through command line here, which works perfectly. Then we will be using also Redis for cache and later for Sidekick, which means we will need actually two services of Redis because we need different eviction policy for cache and for Sidekick. No eviction is it's for Sidekick. Let me check. I think we should have LRU here for cache. Redis. eviction. Oh yeah, this one. Most keeps most recently used keys. That will be optimal for our cache, and we should name it cache. Redis cache. So latest Redis version 7 also binding into localhost, so it is not exposed to external world. I don't remember what this does. I'm not sure we need it in this case. Yeah, we don't need this one for cache because it's not the end of the world if our cache crashes and we lose all the cache. It's not that bad, at least for now. Okay, what else? What else? We need to configure our site now. So traffic, let's put it at the top, simply because usually if something needs changing, it's traffic, don't need network. So this is, you see our volume we created with Ansible in these tasks. We prepared this because traffic needs to store for auto SSL for Let's Encrypt certificates to work and automatically be obtained and updated by traffic. We need to store some meta information on the server, and we need a persistent file for it. Okay, our server will be listening on port 80 and 43. Some configuration for traffic. If you would like, we can discuss it later. Some configuration for Let's Encrypt. Also but there is not much to discuss. You can look it up in the traffic on the traffic site and figure out what is what. And we are using traffic proxy. Yeah. Learn. Implementation traffic proxy. Yeah. And here you can read it all. Okay. Just some nuances. We enable access log. We make it in JSON format so we can later consume it with something. Not sure what yet. And we also add filters for request that duration of which is less than 10 milliseconds. And we need it because Kamal setups traffic to constantly ping our website health endpoint, and it spams logs very hard. So with this option, we will skip all these checks. Okay, that's what about traffic, and the last we need to do, and we need to configure our server, right? Jobs we don't have yet. Deploy servers. Okay. Change IP. Our domain name, like we should be accepting both with double 3W and without it, but by default with this middleware we will be redirecting to the W version of it, by the way. It should be like this. Yeah, I think this is good. I think this is good. At this point, this is all we need actually in terms of configuring deploy with Kamal. Let's try running it. Next, we need to run Kamal setup. Okay, let's try it. Kamal setup. Okay, it was not successful, as you can see. And the problem is it was connecting to the wrong account, which means we need to slightly update our configuration. We need this, we need to run this, but we don't need to obtain session. We just need to connect to the required account first. And my account is family, yeah? It's called like that. This is the name. Let's try it. So another good point, sometimes when you break the deployment process, it Kamal just locks and you cannot redeploy right after that. You need to release, what is it? I don't remember. Wait. Let's look it up. Lock release, I think that is, yeah. We need to run this command to remove the current lock. Okay, let's try running setup again. And we failed again. And you know why? Because I just added here this as a text and we need to run it with Ruby, so it will be executed. Another try. Release the lock. Another try. And another fail. This time, you know what? Turns out my local account, my personal account called not family, it's called my. So this time this should work 100%. Let's try it. Or I already know we need to release the lock first. Okay, let's go. You know, Kamal is always fun when you're configuring it for the first time. Okay, this time it works. Let's see. So now it's compiling our env file and pushing everything to server. When Docker, if Docker will start building our image, I will skip the time so you don't waste your time here. And I will meet you when it's done. So far, so good. Missing file. Okay. What are we missing? Config init SQL. Why are we missing it? Okay, I figured it out. Added init SQL file. It just needs to create database. I'm not sure why it was not there. I think Rails should be generating it by default. It was doing so in my previous projects, but for some reason this time it was not there. Let's try again. I don't know why DevOps is so frustrating almost all the time. You spend so much time configuring stuff here and there. Oh yeah, okay. So we're rolling, it seems. Okay, guys, I will pause the video here and we'll meet you when it's done. Okay, we was almost there, but of course, it's failed. So from the errors, it seems it cannot establish connection to server, and oh, I guess I know why. Because if we look at our deploy configuration, we will see that the database service called DB, and because we are communicating between Docker containers, this is the host that our application must call, and that means that we need to do what? To go to database config and where is it? Host. Yeah, we can just provide db host, or we can change it here. What will be the best approach? I don't know. Let's provide it here. So not this, here, db host, db. I think this should work. Let's try. At this point, we can run just command deploy. We don't need to run setup, I think. I won't turn off video this time. I will speed it up. Maybe not. So it's going pretty fast. Let's see. Yeah, something is not right. It looks like we will have a fail again. Yeah, could not translate host name db to address. You know. Yeah, let me think about it a little bit. Okay, guys, finally success. So spent, I don't know, like 30 minutes debugging this stuff, and I will explain what was missing and what we did wrong. Let's check if the site is working actually. So bebepe.com. Okay. Kind of working, but not exactly. Page not found. Okay. Awesome. I love Kamal. Although it's not Kamal fault, of course. Probably something is misconfigured again. Let's. So, okay, let me first explain what we did wrong the first time. A couple of things. What I added configure Docker task back to the Ansible. It creates a private network for our containers to communicate over. Turns out we need it after all. Then what I did was the DB host should be BeBePe DB, and Redis URL should be BeBePe Redis. We need this prefix. It comes from the service name here, and it adds to the accessory name. I also simplified environment variables. I kept a single Postgres password and change database YAML. And so that's what was done. And the other part we were missing is Kamal deploys files that are committed. So if these files are not committed, so I had Docker file and database changes not committed, so it was deploying the old version of the image, which was not right, and it couldn't connect to the database. So now that's fixed. Now we need to figure out what's up with Traffic. Traffic is always fun to solve. You know, let's maybe try turning off the redirect. Let's check if this is correct. Yeah, this is correct. Okay, guys, as it often happens after several reboots of Traffic and several reboots of web server, we get there finally. So this is our site. Connection is secure, certificate is valid, let's encrypt, everything works perfectly at this point. What our last, by the way, so we provisioned this one and we configured this one, and now we are going to configure a GitHub action for deploy. Yeah, that's our final task for today. Let's do it. First, let's commit everything we have now. We don't need this one. This we need. Kamal deploy ERB, yes. Docker, yes. Yes, all of it, yes. Working. Call Kamal deploy. Awesome. We are getting there. DevOps is the hardest always. This is why I like to do it first and then just relax and develop up. Okay. GitHub workflow deploy. Deploy. I also have it here. Hopefully it just works, but maybe not. CI. Yeah, to our CI, I added concurrency level, and so it can be cancelled as well. This is very useful, especially for dependabot updates for which CI might run. Okay, and here what we have: deploy to production, concurrency group production. We need just one deploy at one time. We cannot have multiple deploys. Then this line means that if workflow CI runs and completes, then we execute deploy, and it should be for main branch only. Okay. And we also check here that CI completed with success, not just completed randomly. Environment. Okay, bundle only deploy. This we need for Docker for building the image. This we don't get from, this is wrong. So steps are checkout, setup Ruby, that's clear. Install. Oh, yeah, I remember now. So why we need this bundle only deploy? So I will show you right now. I added to gem file new deploy group, and I'm installing Kamal here, only Kamal. And we need it only for GitHub action. So we don't need to install anything via bundle during our GitHub action, because everything happens within the container building process. But we need to install Kamal, and the easiest way is to specify the only group of bundle we want gems to be installed from. And then this part will install just Kamal in our case. Well, with its dependency, of course. So this is something required for Kamal to build stuff. This is we using 1Password service account. It's a pretty cool feature where you can provide just service account token in your GitHub repository, and then load any your secrets like here directly. And here what we need to load from our 1Password is actually, we need this one. Copy, but not exactly. You see, we need not the public way, we actually need the private key. But the problem is if I reference it like here like that, so private key, copy secret reference, and it won't work because this shared action does not recognize it in this way, unfortunately. So the workaround for it is to click export. It will export in a OpenSSH format, the key. Then you can edit and just add exported key like that. And then you can just reference it by name. So let me show you. Oh, we already have it. So this we don't need. And we just need the name, ID, ed 25519. And this way it works. Okay, we'll need not only that. Oh yeah, we actually need only that. Because this will allow Kamal to SSH, and this should allow Kamal to amplify and deploy. I don't know. In theory, this is all we need. But let's see. Let's see. I don't know. Auto deploy with Kamal from GitHub Actions. Let's commit, and at this point I think we have committed everything. Let's push it. Let's push it and create the PR auto deploy with Kamal. No description. Okay, like 40 files. Not bad for 1 hour. So there will be a ton of checks. Let's wait, I guess. Let's see. Hey, what is the problem? Is not present in the as pipeline. Why it was working? It was working. Why it doesn't work anymore? Software development is hard, guys. And it works locally. Something with Node.js, it seems. It's not present in the asset pipeline. And without success, we won't be able to deploy as well. That's a problem. That's a problem. Okay, let's try to rerun it. I doubt it will help us, but who knows? That's unrelated. So everything but test works. Actually, at this point, I might just skip fixing the test, to be honest, and see if Kamal works. I'm more interested in this. Yeah, I don't know. Let's where is it? Test. Like I don't know what changed here. So it stopped working. Let's comment this out for now. I will fix it in the next episode, guys, don't worry. Or maybe in between episodes, it's not so interesting to fix test probably. Right. So this now should be green, and then we merge, and then we see Kamal fails or not. That will be a surprise if it doesn't fail. But we also will test it. So green, what's running? Code QL. Don't care about this one. Let's merge it. Why the branch is not auto deleted? Wait. Where is it? Never mind. I figure it out later as well. So can delete this branch manually. Let's see our action. I don't see our workflow. Why? Ah, maybe because we are waiting for CI to complete. Yes, it should be triggered after that. Hey, Lint, come on. Can you lint a little bit faster? It's time to finish this episode already. What's with GitHub today? Is it depend upon the bots finished? Security. Rec has a bug. Security. Okay, we will deal with it tomorrow. What's, I don't know, status github.com. What's going on? Yeah, so actions is having hard time. Very, very nice timing. Okay. Now it should start. The deploy. Why it's not starting deploy? My God. Yeah. CI, this is all correct. Pull request, manifest, break, deploy should run when CI finishes, completes in success. It should run. Yeah, okay, just delayed. It's running. That is the most interesting part, guys. Let's see how it goes. It goes fast. Kamal not found. Why Kamal not found? Wasn't installed. In Kamal. Oh, I haven't added it here. Okay, just a sec. Bundle bin stubs Kamal. Bin stubs Kamal. Okay, now we have Kamal here. Let's check. Yeah, all is good. Let's commit it. Has been Kamal executable. Oh, we merged it already. Yes, I forgot. I forgot. Okay, what's happened here? That's good. PS force. What is it? I don't want this. Motion merge. Okay, everything works. We wait for CI and then it should run Kamal. But you know, oh, it was pretty fast this time. And deployed to production also. Much faster now. Let's see, that's interesting. It seemed to be working. Yeah, what else? So Kamal does not care that it could not connect to. I think we will fail our production now because Kamal did not use one password account to obtain secrets. Okay, let's see what it does. At least it works, I guess. Yeah, and the only part that's missing is obtaining secrets from one password by Kamal. Okay, guys, I think we can call it somewhat a success. I will leave this one in progress because it is in progress. I will debug why it doesn't work with Kamal in between episodes. I guess it's not so interesting. I will share my findings, obviously, in the beginning of the next episode. So, subscribe, hit the bell notification. Sorry it's so long. I didn't plan it, but it was almost like real time. I encountered problems that I am encountering almost always when dealing with something new. Setting up new project and DevOps is always like have very random troubles within them. But yeah, we went through it. It's almost automated and almost all completed, and the bad part is behind us. Next episode will be feature will be Ruby, will be Rails. We won't be dealing with DevOps stuff, I hope. We will simply commit and everything will be automated nicely. And you can start watching finally Ruby on Rails and not some configurations. But yeah, anyway, it's a good thing. You can use it in your own projects. I think like the Ansible code is a great. Kamal configuration is not bad as well. It's not as basic as other examples. It's more production ready. Yeah, if you have any questions, suggestions, comments, leave your comment below. Thank you for watching. It was very exhausting, to be honest. I didn't expect to spend so much time on it, but it was fun. It was an interesting experience. Okay, guys, I will see you in the next episode. Bye.